Happening now in Hartford, school district leaders there are trying to figure out how they're going to pay for their needs.
Yeah, so the superintendent says the district is facing a budget deficit of more than $70 million over the next 2 years. The district shared more about the challenges that they're facing during a special workshop last night. So your reporter Taylor Knight is here live in the studio to explain what happened.
Good morning. Well, that meeting looked at next year's school budget and what the district needs from the state in order to operate. They discussed staffing, transportation, and cuts. Discussions continue in Hartford over how to close a projected school budget gap of more than $70 million over the next 2 years. The district says they expect to lose about $16 million in revenue because of federal funding cuts and a decrease in state grants. This as expenses continue to go up. Over the past few years, the district hired more staff, cutting vacancies by about 10%. Teacher salaries have also gone up to prevent those teachers from leaving. Transportation costs have also increased. The district is asking the state to cover transportation costs for students who live in Hartford but attend school outside of the district. Right now, though, the State Board of Education is auditing the district. If you remember last week, the state said that Hartford Schools actually has a surplus. Now the district says the state is referring to it as a potential deficit. Families will be able to speak at a public hearing next week, and school leaders say that they will know more about exactly how much money they'll be receiving from the state in about 3 weeks from now. Your reporter live in studio, Taylor Knight, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Taylor, thank you.